Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Dean Blundell Show podcast. My name is Dean. We are live on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, DeanBlundell.com, pretty much anywhere. Thanks for joining us. It's the podcast for today, whatever it is, as we get ready for Thanksgiving up here in Canada. Still about a month away from Thanksgiving in the United States. And it's 2020, so even though you don't think there's something to be thankful for, there is. Like, I'm thankful for these guys. Please welcome to the program today from Boot Krewe Media, bootkrewmedia.com, the podcast Propel Stock, our friend Ross Thevenot. I didn't fuck that up. Yes.
Got it.
Hi, fellas.
What's up?
Hey, Dean. Thanks for having us.
Great to see you. You guys look like you're twins. You look 20.
Yeah. We didn't even plan this, which is even more
bullshit.
Swear to God.
We have a Monday to Friday, much like you would have in like a prep school or something, a school uniform. So like I said, we'll have to make sure we get you all the proper attire. Otherwise, I mean, we're not going to be able to do this if we can't match.
No, you guys look good. You got your Boot Krewe Media jerseys on, golf shirts. You guys you're much bigger than us because you got what I would call merch.
We have some merch. It's all Ross's stuff too.
You know, we try to make ourselves look good. It's tough, man. We've got radio faces, so we've got to use what we can here to make ourselves look good.
Do you guys sell that?
We do. bootkrewmedia.com. You go to the shop. Get something.
What do you sell there? What other things do you sell?
We have hats, shirts. Got a big fishing tournament coming up, so that's kind of been the focus. Fishing is a huge thing down here, obviously. But, we've got all kind of goodies. Yeah, you do. You've got a Sportsman's Paradise podcast, which is really cool. I had no idea how much people fucking love, that channel Wild. You know, the channel Wild and the hunting channel and the fishing channel. Like, there's fucking whole channels of this kind of stuff. But yeah, your Sportsman's Paradise podcast is really good. I don't even fish, and I like listening to it. Some guy had like a bow rod last week. I don't even know what the bow rod is, but I was like, wow, that fucking guy's serious.
Bow fishing.
Bow rod. Bow fishing? What is bow fishing?
Hey, so, it is one of the, go ahead. I'm going to let Justin explain this, but I had never been. Okay, I fished. I'm from like deep South Louisiana. I've fished a million times. I had never been bow fishing, though. We went probably, 3-4 months ago now, and it was the most fun I've had in like a long time.
Yeah, but what is it? Do you shoot things? Is it like a bow and arrow?
Yeah. It's legitimately you have a bow and arrow. So basically, with your regular fishing, you have, rod and reel and things like that, and you go at early in the morning. With bow fishing, you go late at night. So you're on an airboat that could go on land or water, and you're in about 3 or 4 feet of water. And
a hovercraft?
You can see through in the boat. Basically, yeah, kind of. So, and you're covered, the boat is covered with huge lights, so about 15 or 20 lights on the side of the boat. So you see in the water. You're standing with a bow and arrow waiting to shoot, and you're shooting at redfish.
Yeah.
So you're looking for redfish, flounder, all that stuff, and literally you're shooting a bow and arrow. You miss, you reel it back in, and then you're on again. So it's probably my favorite type of fishing. It's absolutely like, Ross, I guess you could explain it. It's 4 hours of just nonstop action.
Yeah, it's insane. Sometimes fishing can be boring if you're just like out there, blah, 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 but in an airboat, you're just sort of free to go wherever the hell you want. And I mean, you're shooting a bow and arrow. Who's walking around in daily life being like, I'd like to crank up a bow here today, but it's a hell of a time. It's a hell of a time, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast the other day, and they were talking about how like Sportsman's Paradise podcast, how they were getting out of town and going on like a couples fishing trip. I'm like, man, these guys like love fishing down there. To go on a couples fishing trip is like one of the very few things I've never wanted to do as a couple, which is like everything. Is like the one thing I would never think of is, well, why don't we go on a couples fishing trip? I'll get the downriggers, you get the bait. And and a box of wine and some weed, and we'll just go into the woods and have a romantic evening.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they got Jorda, who was on. Name is Jorda Elliott. He owns Premier Bow Fishing. It's a bow fishing charter, but he is a serious outdoorsman. He goes, scuba fishing,
like Bear Grylls shit. Is he one of those guys that does the Bear Grylls shit? Like if he's in the woods, because if I'm in the woods for more than 4 hours, I'm dead. But he's a guy. This guy can go in the woods for like a couple days and come back, and he was like, "Fuck, I had the greatest time of my life."
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no better guy to like bring you on a charter trip than this dude, because he's a little bit insane.
He's definitely insane.
And so it's like you're always sort of like on the cusp of like, I don't know, is this totally? I mean, if I'm holding a bow and arrow, shit's already kind of not safe
Not good
for anyone else.
Yeah.
And so you get a whole boat of these guys plus Jordan, who's just a character in and of himself. Yeah, it makes for, it's a type of thing that really should be filmed from start to finish, but
let's get on it. Let's get on it, because like there's one thing I hate doing, it's fishing. There's one thing I fucking love doing is watching fishing TV shows where guys reel in these monsters that you can't see, that are down there, and all they got this little hook, and they're like, come on, fish, and they get it. And you're like, fuck, how does he do that? How does he know where they are? Like, I'm all fascinated by the catching of the fish, not interested in doing it. So if we're not going to start recording something, I'm gonna start making you record something.
I'll tell you this much. I've done it about 6 or 7 times, so I've hit probably over 20, 25 redfish with a bow and arrow. Ross, unfortunately, has never gotten one.
No.
You suck, Ross. You suck at bow fishing.
Dean,
I'm telling you that this is like the most fun I've had, and I didn't even catch shit. If I would have caught something, I'd have flipped the whole damn boat over.
Question: Do you have a line on? Do you have a fishing line on the end of the arrow? I'm assuming you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you bow and then you reel it back in, but there's nothing more an adrenaline rush than hitting that fish, because it starts like squiggling around. You pull that thing in. I mean, you feel like you just hunted something down. The feeling is unbelievable.
And like, I don't know how it is up in Canada, but there's also like all of this other stuff going on around you, right? There's alligators all in the water.
We don't have those here.
There's nutria rats everywhere. These like massive muskrat looking things everywhere. It's just like a whole. It's a nuts.
Dolphins. It's pretty insane. Sharks.
Everywhere.
There's shit everywhere.
So when you go bow fishing, do you do it in the ocean, or do you do it like in a tributary off the ocean? Like what is it? I'm interested now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all these little offshoots, like all these little bayous and rivers and like low, like shallow ponds and all kind of stuff. Oh yeah, there's shit everywhere.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm not interested.
I've had a couple people. One of my best friends was bow fishing guy, absolutely blackout, and fell in gator infested waters. It was a little scary. It was Patrick, but it was a little scary at first. So he got a little drunk. He fell off the boat.
Yeah,
there's gators in the water. It was a little weird.
As you do when you go bow fishing in alligator infested waters, and you get super fucking shit faced where you get blackout and you fall in. We get videos of like those. Oh, there's an alligator. Alligator was seen coming out of the sewer in Miami or New Orleans, and you're like, up here in Canada, we're literally freaked out by that kind of stuff. It's like it might as well be a fucking monster come out of the ground. Like we don't have that here. It's like you see if you're lucky to see a beaver, you're fortunate. Like lots of coyotes, but they never come to you. Like we have no life up here. We got to go into the bush and look for something if we want to kill it. Like we really do, or you got to be willing to take a human life.
I'll tell you what, Dean. Have you ever had gator? Have you actually ever had it?
No, I've never.
It's fantastic.
What does it taste like? What does it taste like?
It's better than chicken, in my opinion, if it's cooked correctly.
What does it smell like?
It tastes like chicken.
Yeah. What is?
I don't necessarily know what it smells like. I'm not like, oh damn, what is this?
Well, I've got an issue.
Smells like whatever you cook.
I've got an issue with fish, right? I don't like the smell of fish. Does it smell
no,
like
so it's not. No, not at all. It's more of think more like big gamey. It's not like seafood in the sense that I think you're thinking probably like fish or shrimp or something like that. It's not that texture. It's more of like it's more big
tougher.
game type. Yeah, it's
what
not.
What color is it when you cook it?
Like brown, like
brown.
lightish,
it depends.
tan.
It's fatty.
It's not like green.
No, it's not. It's not fatty.
It's not green.
It's not fatty. It's not fatty. It's
all right. Well, Liz, I'm not going, but I just wanted to know what it was. So let's get started. We got lots of stuff to get to. That's Justin Napoli and Ross Thevenot from Boot Crew Media. Yeah, I know. Thanks for doing this, guys. Pro Saints talk. Let's before we get to the Saints and before we get to their miracle comeback win that you guys are bragging your tits off over before we actually got on the podcast, what I want to get to is your 4-0 Bills, because that'll be big news up here. People are going nuts over
Yeah.
the 4-0 Bills. Stephon Diggs, another huge day. Josh Allen, he put the ball wherever he fucking wants now. Not only does he have zip on it, he was hitting guys with no space, no room. Their running game is terrific. Their defense is terrific. This is a legit 4-0 team, right? Like the Bills are a legit elite team in the NFL this year.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw my tweet yesterday, but I am part of Bills Mafia now, so I'm like I'm all on the train. So that's my AFC team. I'm going with Bills Mafia, but they're just a solid team. They're not one dimensional. They can beat you multiple ways, right? If the passing game's not running, then it's Singletary running, and Josh Allen can beat you with his feet as well. Defensively, they're going to give up some yards, but I mean they're just bend but not break defense. So they create turnovers. They get after the quarterback. They have shut down corners. Like, they are tough. And especially if they get up 17, 20 points like they've been doing, like, they can sit back and relax. I mean, against Oakland, with Las Vegas, they shouldn't have a chance. I mean, I think Allen gets hurt. I think he might have had maybe a sprained shoulder. I don't know. He got hurt. Didn't affect him at all.
No.
He comes back in, and that was it.
Yeah, it was a great, it was a fun game to watch because it was one of those ones. It's like when you're betting on a game. I think we talked about it last week, where it's a blowout and you can sit back and watch it. I think Krewe was talking to us about it last week. You can sit back and you can talk. You can enjoy the win. The money's going to come. You're good. And yesterday I took the Bills, and I was like, you know what? Because it's been so fucking long, and I still don't know what Las Vegas is all about because they won last week. I think they beat the Saints, and so I was shocked that they made that game look as in hand as it was the entire time, Ross. Like, that's the part that I think Bills fans aren't used to, right? Is when you're playing with the lead actually fucking might be safe. Like, and you might trust the guy behind center who's got the lead this time.
Yeah, no. They're a legit 4-0 team, and the interesting thing about the Bills is, theoretically, with the way they play and how balanced they are and how well they can run the ball, once it gets cold as balls up there in Buffalo, it gets even tougher, right? I mean, you get down 17-3, 17-7, and it's fucking snowing, and the field feels like you're running on ice. I mean, it's over.
Right.
They're a legit team, and I enjoy it. I think I mentioned that last week. I don't know if I'm a full member of Bills Mafia yet, but I do like them. That's a big win. The Raiders are not a bad team at all to go out there, with or without fans. Look, they're impressive. Maybe the most impressive team in the league thus far.
Speaking of impressive teams in the league, what did you make of Tom Brady's comeback win, Napoli? I'll start with you. I turned it off because the Chargers looked like they were just going to feed it to him in the first half, and I come back and it's I think it was like 28-13 or so. I can't remember the score. And then the game ended. It was 31-38. Tampa wins. Tom Brady, 5 touchdown passes, almost 400 yards again. Like 2 different Bradys in that game. 2 very different Bradys in that game.
Yeah. I think, Dean, what really turned the game around late in the second quarter, Brady's going down. I think they might be down 17 at this point. They're going down. They're trying to score before the second quarter ends, and they get a personal foul. And they have to punt it with about 30 seconds left. Instead of just putting a knee on it, Los Angeles decides to run the football. They fumble the ball, give it back to Brady inside the 10-yard line. They score a touchdown there, and then Brady just starts finding receivers left and right like he always does. But I'll tell you what, Brady and Mike Evans already have this connection that's almost Randy Moss-esque. He's finding him in the red zone. He's finding him on deep balls. But losing O.J. Howard seems like for the rest of the year could hurt this team because Gronkowski is a skeleton. He's completely useless. Cameron Brate's going to be a good fill-in for this offense, but Godwin's hurt. Fournette's hurt. So, the Bucs have some injury problems, but Brady's Brady. The guy, it doesn't matter who he has. He's still going to put up some numbers. I've been trying to tell you this. I don't know, but he's 5 touchdowns, 400 yards again. You're going to say it's the Chargers, but the Chargers defensively are okay. I know they're losing some of their cornerbacks, but I don't think – I'll tell you this. I don't think the Bucs win the division. I do think the Saints do win, but they're going to be a problem in the playoffs.
Yeah, you can see that already, right? Because you don't know what to expect from that team, and which is no better time to jump off and start talking about the Saints after they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders the week before. They put up a great fucking game yesterday, ran the ball a lot, and I tweeted yesterday, thank fucking God they won, because you guys would have been miserable pricks today for the podcast, like miserable. Like last week, Offner, miserable. Justin was pretty good. Ross, I think, is pretty even keel. Offner didn't even want to fucking talk. I'm like, we're on a podcast. He's like, everything sucks.
That was a pretty good impression, actually.
Oh, thank you.
That was pretty good.
I appreciate it. So,
look.
Go ahead.
We said this last week. Okay, if we could rewind the film, that the Saints would come on and kick the shit out of the Lions. The Lions suck. The Saints don't suck, even though we got like half our team out. We're better coached. We got a better quarterback. Just got a better team all around.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to put the shit in the rearview mirror, look at what's in front of you, and say, it's the Lions. Throw down the hefty bet. We're going to win this game. And that's what we did.
Did you guys take the Saints yesterday?
I did.
I didn't. I did not. I was.
What'd you do?
Did you hear what happened on Saturday night?
No.
The Saints traveled to Detroit, and after getting off the plane, it was reported that our starting fullback had tested for COVID-19. So then that kind of turned into a shit show to where everybody had to be retested again. They were up till 2 a.m. in the morning. They find out that it was a false positive.
Yeah.
So the Saints were not only were 6 starters out, they were up till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. They had to go through all these tests, everything like that. There's a false positive. Then, as you see, they get down early, 14-0. Drew Brees' first play from scrimmage, throws a pick. Lions put 2 touchdowns in a row, 14-0. And I'm like, here we go. But then the Saints just do Saints things. And Drew Brees actually looked really good yesterday. For all the people bitching about his arm strength, and Ross Ross makes great points of this, but it's so stupid because this is who Drew Brees has been his whole life. He's a surgeon from 20 yards and in, but his arm looked very good, Ross. Am I wrong on that?
No, it's the same thing we told everybody last week. It's like you don't hear where are they at? Where's everybody at this week, right? Like where are we today?
I'm here. I'm here. He had only 2 passes over 20 yards yesterday. Only 2.
It doesn't. That's the point, though. It doesn't matter. The team scores 30 points a game, whether Drew Brees can throw it 5 yards or he can throw it 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great offense. It's a great scheme. It's a great structure. And Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Like they're just going to figure it out. The frustrating thing is those guys have earned the benefit of the doubt, but like no one wants to give it to them in New Orleans. They've gotten spoiled. Mm-hmm. Everybody forgets the Saints were just dog shit for 35 years. And now in the Drew Brees era, you've been basically one of the elite teams. And people just want, they want perfection every game. It's not going to happen, especially with the weird stuff that's happened this year.
So a question for you, and I want to get to the coronavirus stuff too, because I was aware of the false positive, but and of course Cam Newton tested. We'll get to the coronavirus stuff in a second. But, the Saints have lost to Vegas, who we still don't really know who they are, but what are they, 1-3 now on the season, Vegas? And then you guys lost to Green Bay, very, very good team, and a great quarterback. And you beat the Lions, and you beat Tampa Bay. And the Lions suck. Tampa Bay looks like they're good. They look like they're going to be what we thought we're told that they were going to be. So, do you read too much into that, or do you hold your head high as a Saints fan and just pretend that you didn't just beat 2 shitty teams and got beat by an average team and a really good team?
The Raiders are 2-2, and you guys were just sitting here saying Tom Brady is baby Jesus. So, no, I just take it for what it's worth.
I didn't say he's baby Jesus. I just
the Saints started.
I said he's baby
Jesus. Trust me. Justin has a picture of a nude picture of Tom Brady hanging
over
on
his
wall.
bed.
So
yeah.
No, I take it for what it is. It's the NFL. A win is a win. We're 2-2. The Saints generally start off with a shitty loss somewhere in there. That was the Raiders, and just go about our business. It's fine. We'll be sitting here in 3 weeks. They'll be 5-2, and
you don't read too much into teams that you beat or you lose to. I nope, see, and that's it. That's what I do. I'm trained to do that. I'm like, okay, well, if that team beat this team, then that team's probably better than this team, right? Like that's how I look at it. And so you look at who the Saints have beat, and you're like, is it that impressive? I'm like, thank God. Even guys were tweeting about it last night because I tweeted, thank God the fucking Saints won. Otherwise, you guys would be miserable pricks. And coincidentally, you're not, which is really good. Number one.
No, look.
Number
I
two,
will let
everybody.
Justin
Everybody brought up their the one tweet I got from everybody is like, it's the Lions. It's the Lions. So good for you guys for holding your heads high.
But nobody says that. Nobody says that when you beat a good team, right? So I mean, you guys were just sitting here saying that the Bucs look really good, and we kicked the shit out of the Bucs, and the Bucs haven't beat anybody with a pulse yet. I mean, I think they beat the Panthers, they beat the Broncos with like a backup quarterback that should be selling, used cars somewhere, and they beat the Chargers with a rookie quarterback. Whoop-de-doo. It's the NFL. Anybody can beat anybody on any week. So you take your wins, let them add up, and we'll talk about it come playoff time.
I wonder if you ever answer that question differently, like closer to the Christmas.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of years when the Saints were like 7-9, and I start worrying about basketball season.
So here's a question. Because Juice, you tell me about your picks, because we put your picks out. Justin Napoli, Ross, Thevenot, Boot Crew Media. We're talking football. Week 4 just went by. Saints won. Justin gives you some picks. Juice's picks. Week 4. Take me through the picks and tell me how you did, because you've been in fuego lately.
Yeah. So I went 2-1 this week. So right off the bat, off the loss, just. The Bears didn't show up. I still don't think the Colts are good. They're very good defensively. They have a very good offensive line, but the Bears played into the Colts' hands yesterday. They played a slow-paced game. They couldn't convert third downs. Nick Foles was atrocious. I really thought +3.5 or +3 at home was a lock, but Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick, did not show up. So that was a loss, but you can't win them all. Then I took Bills Mafia -3 on the road against Las Vegas. They are the real deal. How they keep getting. What's amazing is that these lines aren't inflated. They're basically in essence playing on a neutral field, and they're playing at 3:00. So that cross travel doesn't really affect them. So I like the Bills Mafia. They play defense and they score. Like they're fantastic. You're going to start seeing those lines go up to 5.5, 6, 6.5. They're a real deal. And then you had the over in the Bengals Jaguars game. I thought this was, looking at it, this is my favorite bet of the week. Joe Burrow
he was awesome.
Not talked about enough.
No,
he's not talked. He is fantastic. His pocket presence, his demeanor, everything like that. He's so accurate. And when you get that guy time, he's just going to pick you apart. And
Decisive.
People forget about Joe Mixon.
Yep.
People forget about Joe Mixon.
Yeah, what did he have, like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns yesterday?
Yeah. Like Burrow's surrounded by a ton of playmakers, which is great for him. And then with the Jaguars, I told you they would get a garbage touchdown to push us over, which they do. They get down 17. Gardner Minshew comes down, picks them apart, throws up a bomb, touchdown.
Yeah, touchdown. The over.
I almost called that. I was like, they're going to get down 17, 20 points. They're going to air it out, and that's what it was. And I'll tell you what, I really do like this Bengals team. If you look at them, they're not far away. They've been in almost every single game. Like they should have won week 1. I think their field goal. They tie with the Eagles. They should have won. They could technically be 3-1.
And more importantly, they're covering too, right? Like that's good teams win, great teams cover. Yeah, exactly.
So that's they're a team I'm very interested in. They're about to start getting in the thick of things with the Steelers, Ravens, and Browns coming up, but they're not far away at all.
Yeah,
but Dean, as we were saying, I go 2-1. I go 2-1 and not a tweet. Well, I'll lose a bet and the world's ending, but I'll go 7-3 in my last 10 and it's crickets. So I'd love to hear maybe, hey, good job, maybe a tap on the ass.
That never fucking happens, dude. That never happens. I'll tell you something. You put your picks up at deanblundell.com, and you can get them at Boot Crew and, of course, Justin's own Twitter account, which fails me right now. What's your Twitter feed again? JNAP something. What is it?
JNAP3410.
JNAP3410. Listen, Juice, we call him Juice. Juice is, well, they do, so I do. Juice is really, really fucking good at this. So last week you went 3-0. This week you went 2-1. And last week you went 3-0. not a peep from a fucking soul. Not a word, not a thank you.
No DM.
Nothing. And I'm out there. I'm all for you, too. I got my nuts on the table, and I'm going, fuck, this guy will give me free money. So follow him. Make sure you get Justin Napoli's picks, Juice's picks. And then this week, I think you took the Jets. You put out a nice little video. You're like, yeah, take the Jets. Everybody's dying. On the other team, take the Jets. For the Broncos, Broncos go in because the Jets are just ass. They win, and the second the game was fucking over, it was like this cavalcade of hatred towards Juice. It was like, fuck that guy. He cost me $20. That guy ruined my Pro Line ticket. Fuck the Juice. I hate Juice. Juice doesn't know what he's talking about. Juice doesn't know football. And keep in mind, all these people are in Canada, so I immediately discount it. If it was,
I was actually one of those people.
Was it you?
Yeah. I created a couple burner accounts and just blasted him.
Well,
yeah.
If I were to tell you that the Jets were pick off your quarterback, the opposing quarterback 3 times,
yeah,
and then also return one of those for a touchdown, you'd be like, yeah, Jets win. I mean, how Adam Gase has a fucking job in the NFL is baffling.
Yeah, the great part is that the media, because I think Adam Gase is a nice guy and he knows the media and he does a good job greasing everybody that writes and everybody that reports, specifically socially. They're now, I read a report this morning, they're not blaming him, they're blaming all his assistants, that his assistants aren't smart enough to do the job that he's asking them to do. So Adam Gase is doing everything he can to fucking keep his job.
Oh my God.
Back to the hatred.
Yeah.
I'll
call somebody out, Dean.
Do it, please. I felt like it was too much.
It is one of those burner accounts, but it's Watching America is Funny at One Daily Tweet. That guy can go fuck himself. That's my
why you got to get to the
message.
Yeah, but get to the exchange because he wouldn't leave you alone. It was like tweet after tweet after tweet.
He's delusional. Well, like he's tweeting at me like you don't know football, blah blah. Then he's like, you should have taken the Falcons plus 4.5. I'm like, buddy, the Falcons are. I'm sorry, you should take the Falcons minus 4.5. I go, buddy, the Falcons are plus 7. They're in Green Bay this week. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, look it up on sports.ag. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, next. Then I go to my next notification. You know, it's just like, Dean, this guy cost me $50. I'm like, come on, man. Like, yeah.
Venmo, you got to Venmo and 50, dude. You got to Venmo and 50.
Yeah, you got to Venmo somebody some money. But you know what? And that's the thing about it. Like, that's why I stopped, because we did picks a couple years ago. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this. I'll let someone else do it. Because that's what happens, right? Like, you could run the table and get one wrong, and some guy's like, if it wasn't for you, I would have won $3 million on 15 bets. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Well, but they're asking you to do it, right? They're asking you to help them with their picks.
Well, it's funny you said that, Dean, because Ross and I had a nice conversation yesterday about, I was like, man, this guy's really up my ass. I don't know if we should be doing this. Ross goes, fuck that. I love the negativity. We bring it all on. Like, we love, as you said, good, any content's good content. So
fucking right.
We're all about it.
Did you almost fold your tent because of that guy? Did you almost say, hey, listen, I think I want out? It's too much heat.
I own that guy. But that was a win. What are you talking about?
Ross, did he do that? Did he call you and go, this is too much. Should we be doing this?
He didn't necessarily fold up the franchise, but he called with some concern, and I just gave him the vote of confidence. I'm like, you're 7-3. Tell the guy to fuck himself. If he takes all your picks, he's up. If he takes all of your picks, then he's up. He's up a boatload. Tell the guy to fuck himself. Just type back 7-3. Done.
Well, and you know what? It works, because this week I got a really fucking I got an email from a lawyer in the States. Thanks a lot, America.
You're welcome.
So I got an email from this lawyer in the States, because you know that guy from the Proud Boys that was like talking about a war was coming this last week? Remember that? Did you ever see that?
Saw that, yep.
Yeah. So we posted that, of course, and I'm like, hey, fuck, I can go fuck himself. And then anyway, we posted it, and it had a picture of his like Facebook account. So we get an email from this company this week, and thank God you're involved with us, because we've got great legal counsel, guys.
Love that.
So
love that.
we get an email exchange, an email from this guy, and it just comes to our info account. It's from a guy named Andrew Effinger, and it's a Zachary Poole story. That was the Proud Boy guy. He says, Rogers Group, Inc., a parent company of Arch Materials, LLC, issued the following statement regarding Zachary Poole, the subject of the article online. The endorsement of a political violence in Mr. Poole's social media posts is contrary to the core values of Arch Materials. I don't even fucking know what Arch Materials is. And Rogers Group. Don't know what they are. Arch Materials Rogers Group condemns the strongest possible terms Mr. Poole's encouragement of violence and demand. Demand, boys. Demand. I'm demanding it. Demand
strong
that any media post suggesting otherwise or in any way connecting Rogers Group or Arch Material to Mr. Poole's views be removed immediately. Remove the image connecting Mr. Poole to Arch Materials as soon as possible. Andrew Effinger. He puts the F back in Effinger. So usually when you're like, I don't know if you guys have been hit with anything legal. Like usually when we get hit with something, we look at it and we go, maybe we did something wrong, maybe we didn't, but let's just check it out. So I didn't even fucking know what this guy was talking about. I'm like, Arch Materials, what the fuck is that? I would never, ever, like, it's you and I, everybody else is in the business of trying to make money, not make money by shutting people out business-wise. So I conducted a little research, talked to our guy at legal counsel, and I realized that not only did we not do what he was saying we were doing, which was like defaming his company but all we did was take a screenshot of his Facebook page, where it said it worked, but we never said anything about where he worked. So I sent this note back, and I wanted to get your opinion on it because I don't know if it's too strong. I said, normally I don't respond to these, but dear Mr. Effinger. Normally
that right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't get
so polite.
Normally I
So
don't
polite.
respond to. It's we're Canadian, buddy. We don't start with fuck yous. Normally I don't respond to these, but your email was particularly entertaining to me. Thank you, I said. Number one, we in no way defamed your client. We posted a screen grab from the Facebook account of Zachary Poole, the one who made that video, then distributed the video with a Proud Boy shirt on, who I now hear is under investigation by the FBI for threatening war depending on the outcome of the election, who apparently works for you. It said, number two, due to the fact it's a reproduction, legally you're required to ask the source to remove your client's materials, which is, in this case, Mr. Poole. And I said, number three, due to number one, number two, the answer is no. And then I said, four, this is a bonus. This is a bonus because clearly you don't do any research before you send mitigation letters. We're in Canada, so unless you have a magic legal wand hidden up your geographically and legally challenged rear end of yours, you can kindly go fuck yourself. So when I sent that, I sent it to our lawyer, and I said, what do you think? And he said, strong.
It's pretty strong. He's snoring.
Yeah, I snore when I'm making. So anyway, I said at the bottom of the thing, I said, listen, hit me up if you want to escalate this, or maybe you can just send me a nice email asking me to remove the picture, and maybe I will or maybe I won't. So that's exactly what he did. He sent me this incredibly nice email. He says, thanks for the response. We're just trying to clean this mess up so we can operate our business. We'd greatly appreciate your help in the removal of the screen grab. We don't condone or call his violence or any behavior. Members, we're very sorry. He has been fired. I apologize for the tone of my note. Thank you very much, Andrew. So I just wanted to let people know, don't be afraid of a legal letter that's full of shit. And I think my advice to you guys today would be the same, right? Like, if you're going to get a letter from someone saying, oh, you fucked up and we're coming after you for money, that's really all it is. Traditionally, you want to hit them back with some legal jargon. But a good go fuck yourself works from time to time as well, guys.
You know what? In a lot of ways, I appreciate that he had the gumption to respond back and be like, you know what? My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes you just
gotta
sometimes you got to take your punch in the chin and just be like, you know what? You landed a good one on me. You got me. Let's call it even. And he did it. I almost respect that. Sometimes you just get your ass kicked and you just got to say, I got my ass kicked. Like,
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. tip your cap and call the Yankees my daddy.
Yeah.
Like,
throw it to first base. Take the out.
Just take the.
Just take the L. Take the. You know what you do there is you take the L, you just slide it in your pocket, and you keep on moving. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
That's it. Thank God I know lawyers. That scared the shit out of me when I first saw it too. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go again. We're getting.
And it's always on like some official letterhead.
Yeah.
Like it looks really. Lawyers spice it up a little bit. You got to watch them. Creative guys.
You got to be
and
careful.
girls.
You got to be really careful these days. It's bizarre. Before we go any further, I do want to address a couple of quick things. One, the guys from Boot Crew Media, all part of DeanBlundell.com. Again, go to BootCrewMedia.com for more information. Pro Pels Talk is the name of Pro Saints Talk, Pro Pels Talk, the name of the two podcasts that they do, including Sportsman's Paradise, which is a great podcast. We just finished like a 15-minute long bow fishing conversation. It was tremendous. I didn't know you could bow fish. But we were talking earlier before we started about something very important. The fact that the Toronto Blue Jays, because you brought it up, are going after Trevor Bauer and George Springer. Don't laugh. Trevor Bauer and George Springer. However, rumors that the Boston Red Sox are going after Trevor Bauer and George Springer. Now, traditionally, I wouldn't want to argue this with a couple of guys, but because I'm like fucking sports conversations or those things you see guys sitting there yelling at each other over coffee about. But I enjoy talking to you guys about it. And Napoli's a greasy Red Sox fan somehow. Would Trevor Bauer survive in Boston? Would he be, because he's such a fucking great personality and Boston doesn't like their personalities? I don't think he would. I think he would get beat. I think within the first 3 months he'd pull a Sandoval minus the weight and just split. That's what I think.
First off, fuck Pablo Sandoval right off the bat. I'm dropping a lot of F-bombs today.
Three-time World Series champion.
He was one of the worst Red Sox of all time. Like there's been some bad ones, like AJ Przinsky. There've been some really, but David, he was the worst of all time. Mm-hmm. But back to your George Springer, Trevor Bauer thing. I'm interested to see what the Red Sox do with Jackie Bradley. They got Verdugo, who's going to be patrolling right field probably for the next 6 to 8 years. They got Benintendi, so that center field position will be opening up, in my opinion. And George Springer is from Connecticut. He grew up a Red Sox fan. The Red Sox do have money this offseason, unlike I don't see – I think they do need to spend some type of money. They locked up Bogarts. They're going to have to pay Devers here pretty soon, but they're going to get out of the Price contract. They're out of the Pablo Sandoval contract. So I'm interested to see what they do. I think they will try to land – I think they're going to try to land Bauer. Now, Ross doesn't think that Trevor Bauer's good. I disagree with him. I think Bauer – I think his personality fits in Boston. I really do. I think he's got some antics to him. We can say that. He does a little Conor McGregor shake. You know, he does the chop when he's throwing seven strong in Atlanta. I think his personality fits in Boston. Now, you're right, though. If he's doing that shit and he has like a 5 ERA, it's going to be a long, long couple of years for him. But I think he fits in Boston.
Ross?
Yeah, I think I just wholeheartedly disagree. And it's less that I think his personality, like you can always kind of get away with anything you want if you're out there lighting people up. But Trevor Bauer's been in Major League Baseball for 8-9 years, something like that now. And
yeah,
you'll have to remind me how many of those years that he's broken a 4 ERA. Do you know? I can tell you.
0.
If you want,
tell me.
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
He's done it twice. The guy's got this year had a career this year and then some random ass year in the middle.
And this year doesn't count. You can't take a guy's ERA from this year. Yeah, you can't take a guy's
11
ERA.
starts.
Yeah, no. Right?
He's just been a really,
we're just not talking about stats?
Yeah, we're talking about stats, but we're talking about how the stats don't matter in a 60-game season. You can't there's no way any single player from this year, no matter how well they play, how many home runs they hit, what their average is, what their wins against replacement is, none of that stuff. I love stats. I do. I really do. But in a 60-game season, no one is being paid according to how well they played. Nobody, including fucking Trevor Bauer.
Even still, I mean, I'll give you the stats, but you're talking about 11 starts in 200 starts in his career. I mean, the guy's a over 4 ERA guy, and it's not like he's 24. If he was 24, 25, I was like, okay, but no, he's 30. He's been on 4 teams for a reason. He's just not that consistent.
Do we like
and
guys
not that
like
good.
that? Do we like guys like that too? Like that's listen, pardon me. I love my fucking personalities and athletes. I really do. I'm a huge PK Subban fan. Not of him as a player, but of him as a personality. I love guys that shake it up. I loved Sean Avery. I love people that are, their personalities are bigger. Giannis, who can do it on the court and who's the biggest personality in the world off the court. A guy like Trevor Bauer is very fucking polarizing. Where are we at? Do you like characters like him on your team?
I do actually. I don't have a problem with Trevor Bauer. Like he's got an opinion. I think that's great. I actually sort of find the antics to be funny, and I would bet that he's not as much of a piece of shit as you think he is in the locker room. Mm-hmm. He's probably somebody might get annoyed. It's just all about how you perform. Like you can, I mean, I guess win or lose, you can do whatever you want anyway. But it's a lot more tolerable from somebody who's good. Giannis can basically do whatever the hell he wants because he's maybe the best player in basketball. My shtick with Trevor Bauer is I don't think he's that good.
I mean, that's fair. I think I personally do like it, but y'all both do have a point. You have to perform, and the Red Sox have had these people before, right? Y'all say we talked about Pedro Martinez. Every 4 days he was goofy as shit. He would fuck with people, all that stuff, but come the 5th day, he was all business.
Beat the shit out of old guys. Beat the shit out of old guys. Throw Don Zimmer around a little bit.
That's funny. That's funny. He's like, I'll throw at your head. The Yankees are my daddies. Things like that. That's fine to me. But come every 5th day, he showed up. Like David Ortiz, right? That dude. When he stepped on the line, it was business. But other than that, big smile, having fun, hugging people, grabbing ass. Like that plays in Boston. Mm-hmm. But once again, if you're not performing, they don't like you. Mm-hmm. If you're performing, you can do whatever the hell you want. But
can I indulge? Can you gentlemen allow me one indulgence while we're talking about personalities and pitchers? Yeah, I do. I take a moment. The weekend gets started with it on a real bad note. I'm a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. We obviously, the world lost Bob Gibson on Friday or Saturday. Probably, in my opinion, one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers of all time. Incredible personality. His, 1968 year, maybe the best pitching year of all time. And there's some stories about this guy that are just legendary. Tough loss for the baseball world. My favorite, I'll tell the story because I see Justin laughing down there, is, Tim McCarver's been covering Cardinal games now for 40 years or however old his ass is. And he always tells this one great story about how Bob Gibson was struggling, to find the plate during one game, and he stands up, calls time, and Bob Gibson from the mound says, "Don't even come out here," and he yells it loud enough where everybody can hear it. Says, "Don't even bring your ass out here. The only thing you know about pitching is how not to hit it. Sit your ass back down." So Tim McCarver says he turns back around, gets behind home plate, and just holds his glove up, and that was the end of the story. So hopefully a lot more stories like that coming. But tough loss while we're talking about pitchers with big personalities.
Yeah, Bob Gibson, I believe, still holds the record for the lowest single season ERA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's that year when he had a 1.10 or 1.12 ER. I mean, just an absurd year.
And one of those guys like Fergie Jenkins too, who was just always automatic. Like every year he had 25, 26 wins. Back in the era when guys had 30 wins and it wasn't so weird to have 30 wins in a season.
Threw 300 innings a couple times.
Yeah, like he exactly. He was one of those pitchers that redefined his generation, and I think because of the color barrier too, right? Like just in the time that he played, to be able to go out there and do what he did and to be as good as he was. And and the kind of baseball that was played back then. Like we baby baseball players now. Like this back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, to some extent the 90s. The job was to go out there and play every day. That's why Cal Ripken played for fucking 15 and a half straight years without missing a game. It was like it's a job, and you go out there hurt, and your knees are fucked for the rest of your life at 35, and that's what makes longevity specifically back then. And a guy like Bob Gibson, and how important that loss was to baseball. It was huge. I completely agree, and I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah. While we're talking about kind of how soft baseball has become a little bit, you go back to an era like a guy like Bob Gibson, where I think Hank Aaron said that he would knock down his own grandma if she stared at him a little too long. So I mean, yeah, just a different game. I obviously wasn't around for, but
I would love to see a Bob Gibson Juan Soto matchup where Juan Soto takes that pitch and then starts staring at him like that's the ear hole next pitch for sure.
Yeah,
like there's no doubt.
How many innings? How many do you think he was ever on a pitch count, Bob Gibson?
I'm looking up his stats.
It's like now. Bob Gibson. He's up to 180 pitches, coach. Let him play. We're in the 80s.
In 1968, 1968 had a 1.1 ERA. Went 22-9. I mean, it threw 304 innings. Oh
that's the year.
God.
I think that's the greatest pitching year of all time.
Yeah, it is.
268 strikeouts. That's unreal.
He was incredible and a huge loss. So obviously, rest in peace, Bob Gibson. And thoughts and prayers to the Gibson family for sure. Not that they'll read this or hear it. One thing, and you know what? Out of some things, we did a feature last week called "Some Things." I only got one thing for some things today, and I wanted to end on this. The world, as we know, is in trouble. Oh, by the way, how about Donald Trump getting the COVID?
Your laugh is the funniest part.
What do you do? I will tell you this.
Yeah.
If he comes out of this, fine and skipping out and everything, the stock market is going to explode.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for money, the stock market will explode here the next couple of days if he recovers fully.
Yeah. Is he still in the hospital? Last time I checked, he was still in the hospital walking around pretending that. No, he's out now? Is he out?
You haven't seen the video yet?
No.
You haven't seen the video?
No, what happened?
Oh, my God.
Dude, you got to bring it out. What happened?
The guy's comedy gold. So no, he leaves in like a presidential motorcade.
Yeah.
And he's got two Secret Service guys in the front. He's in the back seat waving like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
dude,
that was yesterday. I don't think he's out of the hospital yet though, is he? Like I think he's still there in the hospital.
That's him. I thought that's him leaving the hospital.
No, that was him going for a fucking rip, man. He just took her for a rip. Like, that's the crazy part. Do you know what he did? Oh, fuck. You're in the States and you don't even know this? Jesus Christ, you guys need new uniforms. So here's the deal. This is what happened. He fucking makes all the Secret Service people get all dressed up in all this PPE gear. And then you know what he does? He goes for a ride just so he can wave to people because he needed to feel the love, man. He needed to he's like, yeah. So now every single person that was in that motorcade has to quarantine for 2 straight weeks.
Oh man.
Anyway,
I didn't think it'd get much worse.
We ran a death.
The guy's full of gold, man.
I know. We ran a death poll, and 75% of people on our poll said, "Yeah, we wouldn't care if he died." Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to end the podcast with something nice today, gentlemen. Some things. You guys have kids. You guys all have kids. 2 kids.
2 kids for us.
I want you to watch this beautiful little boy. This is like a way to cleanse ourselves at the end of a podcast, maybe. But I want you to watch this beautiful little boy celebrating his 3rd birthday. Watch this. I want you to listen to it, too. This is beautiful. Go ahead, play it. Something that you're not going to get a chance to see. And that's the wrong one. There you go. Here you go. Look at this beautiful kid.
I don't see anything.
You don't see anything?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I got nothing here.
Yeah, don't worry. It's out there. Look at this little boy. He's happy birthday. And he's 3 years old. He's sitting at the table, and he's just enjoying himself. Look at this. Look at.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See?
Okay, blow it out.
Look
Don't
at that.
touch. Go.
Look at that. Look at.
Blow it.
Look
Go.
at. Not too sure. So cute.
Blow it
Bring
out.
it closer. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the wonder. What is it?
Blow it out. Go.
So new.
Look, can you blow on it?
Blow on it. Go. Whew.
Oh yeah.
Ready.
One more
Again.
time.
No. Watch this.
That's good stuff.
We need more stuff like that, don't we? We
That's
need more
good
stuff
stuff.
like that. Little
That's
babies.
terrific.
Like, there's nothing better than having a little baby celebrate a birthday and get all excited and get happy and mom and dad. Like that. We need to cleanse ourselves with that from time to time. So I wanted to throw that in for you guys today.
That's good stuff.
That's what I do.
We needed that.
You're
I
welcome.
needed that for sure.
Yeah, you swore a lot today, Justin.
I know. I apologize. I was fired up. Well, I don't get appreciation. I feel like, people take advantage of me. I mean, like a
For your
thank
picks?
you, a DM, a
Yeah.
card. I don't know. Give me something.
You know what? And I think that's a great thing to end on. If you can just show Justin some appreciation this week, that would be great. he'd really appreciate it. And
A
follow,
greeting card.
yeah,
A
follow
greeting
him.
card. Something. Yeah, follow me.
Follow.
DM me. If you want
DM.
to talk, let's talk. Like anything. I'm down.
Twitter-
I'll clear my schedule.
Twitter handle JNap.
Yeah, and then I'm more on Boot Crew actually. I think
Boot Crew. At
my
Boot
personal
Crew.
account's kind of just for Boot Crew.
BootCrewMedia.com.
Media.
BootCrewMedia.com. That's where you can find him. Put out those pics at BootCrewMedia.com. He made some money. He's like 7-3 in the last couple of weeks. So don't give him shit. Don't get after my man. Leave him alone. Ross, appreciate you doing this. At Boot Crew Media is where you can get my friends at Pro Saints Talk as well. Guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate you being here today.
All right,
Looking forward to next Monday, Dean.
Thanks for breaking it down. Talk to you soon. Justin Napoli and Ross Thevenot from Boot Crew Media and Pro Saints Talk at Pro Saints Talk at bootcrewmedia.com as well, at Boot Crew Media. That's why I'm just looking at their website right now. They got merch. We don't have merch. Get some Boot Crew merch. Order some merch from them. They got a whole cart. I don't have a shopping cart on my site. They have a shopping cart on their site. You can get eggs, get a hat, flour, tracksuit. I don't know if they have that stuff. But go to bootcrewmedia.com. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Thanks for listening, and thanks for taking time with us. We appreciate it. You can always find us at deanblundell.com. Sign up for our newsletter there as well. At It's Dean Blundell on Twitter. At D Blundell Show on Twitter as well for the Dean Blundell Show podcast, which is brought to you by our friends at Envision Digital Solutions. Envision.co. Collect and connect with my friends at Envision Digital Solutions. Collect some money because they know how to generate revenue online. Super smart. Easy to do. They also do web building. It's super smart. You got to be smart. Got to partner with smart people. Know what they're doing. You don't climb a mountain without a Sherpa, especially Everest. This is a big mountain. So envision.co is who you need to talk to if you have some issues with your web development things. Ed at Ed's Fine Imports, edsfineimports.com. We use promo code GITCH3 right now. You can get yourself 4 pairs of Gitch for the price of 3. Promo code GITCH3, edsfineimports.com. Clothing for men and boys. Thank you, Ed. Good to see you the other day, Ed. You need to wash your car, Ed. He does. His car was dirty. I was going to put, but I don't like it when people write on cars. Do you know what I mean? Like, when it's like, wash me or I'm dirty. I feel like just getting there before everybody else and saying, fuck you if you're going to write on me. Eat a bag of dicks. I'll chop your goddamn finger off. Stuff like that. Anyway, Ed's going to wash his car. You're going to go there. Clothing for men and boys. Unbelievable stuff. I'm going to head down there actually today, get myself some Heritage jeans. And if you're worried about the COVID, don't worry. Because what Ed does is he sends you clothes. Massive online store. Ed at edsfineimports.com. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. See ya. Are we clear? And we're clear.